Hello girls and boys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are all safe and well. If you are new here, then hi, nice to meet you. I'm Charlotte. I upload videos every Sunday on this channel, so make sure to click that subscribe button and join the fam. I have mentioned this in a previous video, but I kind of wanted to start afresh on my channel, so I deleted a lot of my old uploads. Since then, I've had quite a few girls DM me on Instagram to say that they had gone back to watch one of my videos where I have spoken about my breast augmentation experience, or they'd been recommended to watch it and I had taken them all down. So that is the reason I am refilming this one today. I have a list of notes in front of me over here and also a few questions from Instagram. So I'm hoping I'll kind of cover everything. If there's anything that I do miss out though, because I'm sure there will be, just leave me a comment down below, or you can send me a message on Instagram. I'll leave my username somewhere here on the screen and also linked in the description box. So yeah, send me a message and I will try my best to answer any questions. Super quick disclaimer before we begin. I hate that this has to be said, but I do feel like I need to say it. In no way am I promoting cosmetic surgery in this video. It is very much a personal choice, and for me it was the right one. I just found these videos super helpful when I was looking into having it done, so I'm hoping to be a help to other people who are considering it as well. Okay, so with that said, I'm just going to crack on. The first thing I have on my list of notes here in front of me is my reasons why. I think the reasons that I wanted a breast augmentation are probably pretty standard, in line with the reason that most people have their boobs done. I was just unhappy with the way they looked. I felt that they were quite small. They were also odd sizes, so I know it's completely normal to have one boob that is bigger than the other, but for me personally, because they were on the smallest side, I just felt it was more obvious. I also did gymnastics from quite a young age, so I was quite muscular in my upper body area particularly, and kind of just felt my chest looked quite masculine, so I just generally felt that I would feel more comfortable and more confident in myself if I got them done, so I did. Next, I have written down research. So I just want to address the fact that it is so important to do your own research when considering having any kind of procedure, whether it be cosmetic surgery, whether it be Botox or injectable fillers, anything like that, just because there's a lot that goes into procedures that you don't initially think of unless you look into it properly. And it's also important to research the practitioner or the surgeon that you are looking at going to for it. For example, with breast augmentation, there are different sizes, different shapes, different brands of implants. There's different techniques to have your implants inserted, and there will be surgeons that get their implants from specific companies. They will have techniques that they specialize in, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just super important to do your research and be aware of what's available out there. I think doing research is actually how I came across the surgeon that I went with. So my consultant was Dr. Reza Nassab. If you haven't heard of him, then I'll leave his Instagram and his website, all that good stuff, linked down below for you to check out. If you have decided that a breast augmentation is something that you want, then I can definitely recommend him and the whole team at the Wilmslow Hospital, because the care that I received from them was outstanding. So yeah, during my whole experience, actually, I only ever had one consultation. Of course, I did research into like loads of surgeons and hospitals and stuff, but I just got a good vibe from Dr. Nassab pretty much from the get-go. I mean, the before and after results that he posted were definitely along the lines of the kind of result that I wanted, so that did draw me in. But one of the things that I think I loved is, I guess, how transparent, if that's the right word, that he is when it comes to his work. He can be so honest and make good recommendations when it comes to what implant size or shape you should get, where it should be placed. He also gives really good justification for the techniques and methods that he uses, and also the implants that he uses as well. So I just felt like I was in really safe hands. In my consultation, we just kind of explored why I wanted it done, what I was kind of expecting out of the procedure, the risks and benefits obviously, and I tried a few implants on, and then went away afterwards and had a think about it for a couple of days, had a chat with my family, and decided that it was just 100% the right thing for me to do, and that Dr. Nassab was the person that I wanted to do it. So I dropped them an email and got my surgery booked in. I think it was about a 4-week wait from my consultation to the date of my surgery. So I had my surgery on the 14th of September 2018. The day before, I had to stop eating. I think it's from around midnight that you stop eating. Obviously, because you're put to sleep under a general anaesthetic, you have to have an empty stomach. So I had to stop eating from the night before, but luckily I think I was the first case of the day. So it wasn't too bad because we woke up super early in the morning, drove straight down to Cheshire, which is where the hospital is. So the Wilmslow Hospital, I think it's around a 20-minute drive from the Trafford Centre in Manchester. When we got there, a nurse showed me to my little private pod. So I had my own room with like a bed, some chairs and a TV and stuff, and that is where I was taken for recovery after the procedure. So she kind of just introduced herself, got me prepped for theatre, so I got gowned up, popped some lovely stockings on and stuff. In fact, I should have took some pictures when I was like that because I don't think I really have any. I will try and insert a few clips and pictures of what I do have somewhere on the screen throughout the video. But yeah, I just kind of got prepped, and then the anaesthetist and Dr. Nasab came in just to kind of do some final checks, get some signatures on some consent forms, and I got kind of marked up. So obviously Dr. Nasab had to draw on me before we went into theatre, just so he kind of knew, I guess, where he was making incisions and all that kind of stuff. After that, I'm pretty sure I just like headed straight into theatre. It was a super quick process. When I got into theatre, I kind of just lay down on the table and they were getting everything ready. I was absolutely petrified. I was so nervous. One of the things I was scared most for though was actually having the cannula in the back of my hand. I think that's one thing that a lot of people are scared for, but realistically, it's one of the smallest things about the whole experience and is definitely something not to be afraid of looking back on it anyway. When it came to having the cannula put in, Dr. Nasab was really lovely and was holding my hand and keeping me distracted along with the nurse who was kind of keeping me chatting and stuff. And the anaesthetist popped it straight in and I barely even felt it. It was literally like a scratch and it was done. And then I just had the anaesthetic put through my cannula to be put to sleep. So the anaesthetist actually kind of spoke me through the whole process, which was really cool and really weird. So he told me that I would get like a cold sensation going up my arm as the medication went in. He said that if I swallowed, I would have a strange taste at the back of my throat, which I did. And then they just kind of said that they would see me on the other side. And the next thing I remember is waking up in my little pod with the recovery nurse. So yeah, it was super straightforward. And I'm pretty sure I was in theatre for like less than an hour and a half. I don't know if these timings are completely right because it was quite a while ago, but I'm sure it was like a pretty quick thing. When I first woke up, I was still like super drowsy and kind of falling back to sleep and stuff because general anaesthetic does take quite a toll on your body and just generally makes you super sleepy for the rest of the day. When I had woken up eventually and was like a little more alert, they brought my family back in. They kept me hooked up to monitors and stuff just so they could keep an eye on my observations. I had a little bit of lunch. Dr. Nasab also popped in after I'd woken up just to kind of check on me and also helped me adjust so I could have a little peek at them because it's quite difficult. You're kind of all bandaged up. You've got the support bra on and the band across the top, so there's not a great deal to see. But it just kind of helped me so I could have a look at them, and I was so happy when I saw them. I just thought it was incredible. I could not believe they were mine. It was, yeah, amazing. Other than that, I think the only other thing I had to do to be discharged was pass urine, and I did not consider how difficult it would be to have a wee after having general anaesthetic, but I'm here to tell you it's actually quite difficult. And then I'm pretty sure I was just discharged home. So that was probably like 3 to 4 hours after having woken up. I also felt fine for the journey home too, so if you live a bit away from where you're having the procedure done, it can be recommended that you kind of stay up in a hotel for the first couple of nights or so, but I felt absolutely fine and the drive was only about an hour and a half. So we drove home and then I pretty much just got into bed and slept for the rest of the afternoon. I was also sent home with a whole load of medication, most of which was just pain relief. I kind of just kept up on my pain relief as often as I could for the first week because I wanted to just keep it under control. I didn't want to kind of have to be like trying to catch up with it, if that makes sense. For the first day or two though, I would say it was not so much painful, but just kind of uncomfortable. Obviously my chest area felt super tight because your skin is having to stretch to accommodate the extra volume, and your body is getting used to having foreign objects in it. So I mean, it was uncomfortable, but I don't know if it's because the drugs from the surgery itself maybe were still in my system a little bit, but I was not in pain for the first 2 days at all, really. So recovery wise, I would say one of the most challenging things is probably just not being able to shower properly. Obviously you have to keep your support bra on and the bands and all that kind of stuff on for as much of the day as you physically can, and because I had dissolvable stitches as well, I had to keep the area nice and dry. So it was a case of having waist depth baths, which I am definitely more of a shower girl, so that was a bit of a challenge for me. I was lucky enough that I had my mom with me for the first day, and my boyfriend at the time had also booked 2 weeks off work to spend the kind of recovery period with me. So they were kind of helping me get to my back and stuff, because I literally could not lift my arm past about that height for the first, I'm gonna say like 2 weeks. So it's quite difficult to actually wash yourself. And my boyfriend was also washing my hair, drying my hair, styling my hair. Like, I have to admit, I was very lucky in that sense. So a couple of days in to about 1 week post-op is where I would say I struggled the most pain-wise. It wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was super painful. It was definitely bearable. It was just pretty uncomfortable. I think it doesn't help that you have to try and sleep upright for the first 2 weeks, because it can be quite difficult to sleep when you're uncomfortable anyway, but having to sleep upright just meant I was getting quite a lack of sleep, and lack of sleep doesn't really help your pain tolerance, so I don't think the two go together that well, but it's definitely nothing to worry about. I would 100% go back and do it all again. So yeah, and then from the 1 week point to about 2 weeks, it just kind of got easier with each day, and I was just kind of feeling more back to myself. I felt comfortable enough to go to the shops, like I was getting up and getting changed. I even went and got my hair like washed, cut and blow dried, which was definitely needed. But yeah, it just kind of got easier as it went on. And that 2 week mark is also when I had my first post-op check. So we drove back down to the Wilmslow hospital, and a nurse just kind of took the bandages off, checked the stitches and how everything was healing. Dr. Nassab also just popped in to see how I was doing and kind of review everything, and that was all fine. After those 2 weeks, I also went back to university, which I guess I timed pretty well because it was the start of my new year at uni, and you're also recommended to have 2 weeks off of work after the procedure. So I went back to uni, and that was absolutely fine. Obviously, because I was just sat in lecture taking notes, it wasn't really physically demanding on my body at all. So that was no trouble. The only thing I will say is I had to drive to uni, and I drive an no, I don't drive an automatic and I drive a manual car. Obviously, all of the muscles in this area were pretty tender, shall we say, and they're also the same muscles that you have to use when you change gear, so that was a little bit uncomfortable, but it just kind of got easier with each day, to be honest. After that, I had my second and final post-op check with Dr. Nassab at 6 weeks. That was just to pretty much review everything, and my implants had settled down a little bit more at that point as well. So if you're not aware, when you first get your implants, they kind of sit pretty high up, and they can also feel pretty rock hard as well, but over time they just continuously kind of settle into a more natural position and get softer. So they had settled down a little bit more at that 6 week point. That was pretty much it recovery wise. I think I am now, is it 1.5 years? Yeah, I think it's been 1.5 years since I've had my surgery now, and I genuinely could not be happier with the way they look. I don't heal the best, so my scars still are slightly visible, but they are literally only about 1 inch long and sit right at the bottom of your breast, so they are not like super obvious, and they don't bother me at all. I literally just pop a little bit of bio oil on them every now and then. But yeah, I'm so happy with how they look now, and yeah. So I feel like that's pretty much everything when it comes to covering my experience with my breast augmentation. So I'm quickly going to come onto Instagram now and just answer a couple of my questions that I have on here. The first question that I have here is also the one that I get asked the most, and it is, what shape and size implant did you get? So I had a 300cc size implant in a teardrop shape and had it placed under the muscle. Implant sizes come in cc, so you can get like 250, 300, 350. I got 300, which took me from a 32A cup size to a 32D cup size. Shape-wise, you can get either a teardrop shape or a round. The round is exactly what it sounds like, it's just a round implant. And the teardrop shape is that more kind of anatomical, I guess natural structure. So it kind of slopes down, and then most of the volume is at the bottom of the implant. And then you have two options in terms of where you get the implant placed. So you can have it over the muscle or you can have it under the muscle. If you don't have a great deal of breast tissue, I think it's often recommended that you have it placed under the muscle. So yeah, I had 300cc teardrop under the muscle. The next question I have is, how long after your surgery did you go back to work? As I said, I went back to university after 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is the recommended amount of time you should have off after the surgery. Yeah, university wasn't physically demanding on me at all. I was a student midwife, so by the time it came to me going back into the hospital on placement, I was like at least 6 weeks post-op, so that was absolutely fine. That is something to bear in mind though, if your job is a little bit more physically demanding, so for example you're like a PT or something, it is recommended that you don't get back into kind of strenuous exercise or activity for, I think it's 6 weeks. So you would need to work out if you could get that kind of length of time off of work. My battery is literally about to die, so I'm going to answer one more question. I have one here, which is, what are your top tips for recovery? I would probably say just try to get loads of comfy cushions. So as I said, you do have to sleep sitting pretty much upright for the first 2 weeks. I know a lot of people get those kind of V-shaped cushions, which I think I would definitely invest in next time. Just anything that's gonna keep you nice and comfy and yeah, help you sleep is definitely worth it. I would also say, if you are lucky enough to have someone that would be willing to book that time off work to kind of keep you company and help you in that recovery period, then that would definitely be helpful. It was, yeah, really nice to just have someone to help me do basic tasks like that. And then just loads of snacks and lots of good films and series to kind of keep you entertained and sane while you're off for 2 weeks. So I'm going to wrap it up here before my battery dies, but I hope this video has been helpful. As I've said, if you still have any questions, just leave me a comment down below or drop me a message and I'll try my best to answer them. I'll leave all the important links and stuff in the description box as well. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!